My husband, who had always hated stuffed toys, suddenly brought home a giant teddy bear and started sleeping with it every night. He even began to ignore me, leaving me cold and alone. I couldn't take it anymore, so I asked for a divorce at our son's first birthday party. Everyone was stunned. My husband picked up a glass of wine and splashed it in my face, shouting angrily, "You're jealous of a teddy bear? Are you insane?" I wiped the mess off my face and replied coldly, "Didn't you keep saying you wanted to spend forever with that teddy bear? I'll grant you your wish." "Claire, our son just turned 1 and you're asking for a divorce over something this ridiculous? You're completely insane." Brandon clenched his fists in anger, his eyes wide with disbelief. "Sign the papers. See you at the city hall at 9 a.m. tomorrow." I couldn't be bothered to argue anymore. I threw down the divorce agreement and turned to leave. The guests were once again dumbfounded. No one could understand why the couple they all admired, the so-called perfect pair, was suddenly falling apart like this. A flicker of panic and confusion crossed Brandon's eyes. His parents immediately frowned, their expressions darkening. They hadn't expected me to be this resolute. His assistant, Bella, yanked me back and tried to persuade me. "Who says guys can't like stuffed toys? Stop being crazy and just apologize to Brandon. Don't forget how much Brandon dotes on you. When you said you liked the plums from the neighboring city, he drove there overnight just to buy them. When he heard you were going into labor, he braved a massive storm to rush home. He even got into a car accident, but still ran to the hospital with blood all over his head. He sleeps in a separate room so he won't disturb you and the baby. Why can't you see how much he's done for you?" The guests began to criticize me as well. "Bella is right. Your life is going just fine. Why are you making a scene? Do you know how many people envy you for marrying such a good husband? Maybe it's postpartum depression. Your emotions have been all over the place lately. If something's bothering you, sit down and talk it out. Don't go throwing around the word divorce like that." Brandon took a deep breath, steadying his emotions, then stepped forward and pulled me into his arms. "Honey," he said softly, "we've been through 12 years together, meeting, falling in love, building a life side by side. I know you. You're gentle, never the type to lose your temper. I know childbirth was hard on you and you've been juggling the company too. Are you struggling with something? Feeling overwhelmed? Just say the word, we'll face it together." His words, full of concern, only made the crowd admire him more, and made me seem even more ungrateful in their eyes. "Claire, my dear," his mother finally spoke after a long silence, "I may be retired and no longer involved in business, but people still respect me. We're family. If something's wrong, say it. Don't keep it bottled up inside." Even his father, who had stayed quiet all this time, now chose to speak, choosing to believe in my character. After all, I was the daughter-in-law they had carefully chosen. Ignoring everyone's eyes on me, I shoved Brandon away and said coldly, "It's simple. I don't love you anymore." The room fell into stunned silence. "What? Say that again." Brandon froze, his eyes gradually turning red. "I said, I don't love you anymore. Did you hear it clearly this time?" With that, I stepped around Brandon and started to walk away. "Stop right there." But the next second, Bella yanked my arm forcefully and snapped, "Can you stop making a scene already? Even I, his assistant, can't stand watching this anymore. Have you forgotten how much you used to love Brandon? You chased him for 3 whole years, and it took another 6 years before you two finally got married. Have you forgotten what you said at the wedding? To hold his hand and grow old together, never leaving one another. And your child is already 1. Do you really want him to grow up in a broken family?" She was clearly siding with Brandon. I glanced at her with a half smile. "And what's it to you? Why so worked up? Don't tell me you." Before I could finish, Bella cut me off, her tone turning even more arrogant. "Anyone with a conscience would be disgusted by how ungrateful you are. You came from nothing and yet Brandon never looked down on you. He even arranged for you to work at his company. If it weren't for his family, do you think you'd be living the life you are now?"